what I'm saying. Oh, I'm live. Hello. Hello, everyone. And welcome to our third show on the HMO Heaven Facebook group. I'm supposed to be looking at the camera. I keep forgetting what I'm doing. And tonight's show is an absolute corker. I really think you're going to love it. We've got a special guest joining me tonight, and fingers crossed that I've got the tech right this time. I did try to bring you this last week, but it didn't quite work out. So hopefully tonight we can get it right. So the special guest joining you tonight, he's a really funny guy. He's built a great company, and I just love his ambition and drive and what he's achieved in a really short time. I know you're going to love it, whatever stage of business you're at, because there's loads that you can take away, you know, whatever stage of business you're at. I've said that twice now. And we love these Facebook Lives because it means that it's a two-way thing that we got going on here. Is anybody on? I don't know how I can see it on this screen, but just give us a like if you're on so that we know you're here. Pop any questions in the comments as we go along. I'm sure you're going to have loads of questions for Paul. And please invite people to the group if there's anyone you think would really benefit from all this deep dive into HMO stuff. As always, we're aiming to wrap these sessions up well within an hour because we know that you're busy people. So let's crack on. He started in business he started in property only 5 years ago, and he's only been full-time for just over 2 years. And he's built up his business at a rapid pace. He started off building his portfolio through lease options, and after a year, he started rent to rent, and then he started buying properties. In addition to that, he started his own lettings agency. Getting out of breath just going through it all. He then bought a lettings agency. He now has over 215 units under management and ownership, and he's in the process of completing on a really exciting deal, which will go to 15 ensuite units with all the money out. It's the deal of dreams. So I think you'll agree that he's named his company well when I tell you that it's called Empire Property and Lettings. So some of you will know who it is now. Welcome to the show, Mr. Paul Tanner, you HMO hero. Hi, Paul. How are you doing tonight?
Yes, Stephanie. Thanks very much for the intro. Much appreciated. Yeah, and it's good to be on as well at the same time.
Good, good. And I think we should just say a quick hello to Paul's wife, Emma, and to Bentley the cat, who are watching, I think, from Paul's mother-in-law's house. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. And obviously, you'll probably be giving it all the hearts, won't you, really? Not just the thumbs up. So tonight's show is going to be about voids. That was what won on the polls this week. And obviously, because Paul's got a lot of experience, a lot of rooms, it's great that he can give his input into it. And the second part will be all about deep diving into Paul's business, how he's grown his business, and all the questions that you want to ask him. So really excited to get into that too. So Paul, as we know, it's much easier for us. We've got a fraction of the rooms that you have to maintain. It's much easier for people with fewer rooms to maintain full occupancy. But when you've got over 200 rooms spread all across the city of Birmingham, tell us about what it's like in your business.
So our portfolio, over 200 units, is spread pretty much from single lets through to HMOs, through to commercial units as well at the same time. We have one supported living house as well, which has got 9 units inside it. We have students as well, which is, again, kind of cyclised around semesters. And then we also have professionals as well at the same time. So, again, all the different tenant types that you could have. Voids, they can come, there could be one tomorrow. You just never know when somebody's life circumstances may change. Yeah. So as much as you might get to a point of not marketing and you'll be happy, and if I ever stopped marketing, it would be a dream. Yeah. But you ever know that someone might be handing their notice in tomorrow. Yeah. And I'm sure you'll appreciate that, Steph, as well. It's always a landlord's kind of worst nightmare. And it's something that you've always got to be expecting to kind of happen. Yeah. So we'll market straight away as soon as we've got a void that's came about. we'll have it dressed, we'll have it let on well, we'll have it on all the public market spaces. Yeah. We'll have it available within our internal stock lists. Yeah. We'll have it available on internal mailing lists as well at the same time, and we'll market it until it's gone, really, to be fair.
Fantastic. So I know that you've got staff working for you as well, and you've got 2 portfolio managers who are managing and will be managing all of the viewings and all of that.
Yeah.
And we spoke yesterday, didn't we? And you said that at the moment you're at 93% occupancy, and that's right. A bit higher or lower. It's not what it usually is, but it's still a great rate for your size of business.
Yeah.
So, what's your top tips on the
voids? Yeah. We did this. So I have 2 portfolio managers. As I said, I have a lady called Marta who come from block management. Yeah. So essentially, when you look at it, a HMO is a small block. It's a small apartment block. That's the way that I visualize it. And then I had Charlie as well, which is on board, who used to run her own estate agency. So again, I kind of got her own a little bit of a power team as well.
Yeah.
In terms of, I suppose, how to get some top tips on it, you've also got to look at, you don't know if that person is going to take that room today, tomorrow. If you called me and or called the office and said, I'd like to do a viewing today, and the room is empty, we will do a viewing today. I won't wait until tomorrow, because you might go somewhere else, and that's my lost opportunity to secure you as a potential tenant. So don't think that you're going to just be doing viewings at 9 o'clock till 5:30. If it's an 8:30 viewing, I will do that viewing, or Marta or Charlie might do that viewing, just to get a deal done. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if you was up against the sales and I could do it, then I want a deal as well.
I suppose you don't get as much chance to block the viewings together as some people.
We will do. So we will allocate them, because our portfolio is spread from one end to the other end. Yeah. You kind of have to work in that way. Yeah. We also have another person called Michael, who's self-employed, who works for us as well, and he has his own territory. Yeah. So it becomes, as your portfolio grows, think of it as in a corporate sales role. Yeah. You have a territory that you manage. Yeah. Or a territory that you understand the checkouts, the check-ins, what room rates. Someone might come and say, well, I want a large room, and you'll know that on that road, that house, I have available stock, or I have a budget. You know where the unit is that's available for that budget, and you can quickly filter through it and secure a deal a little bit quicker.
Okay, it's in my mind thinking about the territories and all this, all of our properties.
It's really, to be fair.
About 20 minutes drive max. So thanks for them top tips, Paul. Guys, you know I love a bit of alliteration, so I've got 5 P's for you, and we're just going to run through there, and then Paul's going to give you his insights as well. So number 1 is place, and the property has to be in the right location. I think this is something that, oh, sorry, I'm shouting. I think this is something that's possibly a bit easier for us, but I know that, Paul, you'll take on a whole portfolio, for example, and you'll not be able to choose the location of your properties. So,
yeah, I mean, if the location is key, because you think about it, if you've got it in the wrong location and there's not a demand for it, those rooms sit empty. It's not going to cash flow positive. It'll cost you money, so it's a liability instead of an asset. Yeah.
So when you do get the chance to choose for your location, because you're either buying or you're considering a rent-to-rent, obviously they've got to be near a people hub, near employers, hospitals, transport, and if it's professionals and students, then definitely near cafes, shops, restaurants, and all that. It needs to be a good fit for the type of tenants that you're trying to attract. The second thing is, it's got to be the second P is property. So you've got to have the right property. And again, on this one, I just mean the sizes of the bedrooms, that the communal area sizes, the sort of layout of the house. And then you choose with the sort of design and furniture and the homeliness that are going to help you to let your rooms quickly. And a really important one is the bathroom to well, bathroom to tenant ratio or bathroom to bedroom ratio. In Newport, most of our rooms are not en suite, and we have got the usually we say it has to be at least one shower to every 3 people. But we have got one house that's an 8-bed that's only got 2 bathrooms, but that has let quite well, which has really surprised us. But we wouldn't take on like a 4-bed that had 1 bathroom. What's your experience in Birmingham with the ensuite or off-suite?
I think there's a massive trend towards en-suites at the moment. Yeah, we can quite quickly and easily see that there is a massive trend to A, en-suites, B, which is workstations as well, not kitchenettes, so that they get classified as differently. And then also the standard and quality of rooms is being pushed higher and higher in Birmingham, which is then resulting in, again, new market rates being achieved as well. Yeah, we're definitely seeing that, and but then that also in return attracts a better quality of tenants. Yeah, and that must be more challenging as well, being a standard letting agent, if you will, because you can't invest in the properties at all, and if you've got not so great properties, it must be harder to make it work. Yeah, I totally agree, but that's a reflection in price though as well, isn't it?
Oh yeah. Okay, so the third P is promotion. Well, I'm giving you actually 2 here, 2 for the price of 1. It's promotion and price. So this is the really important one. It's to have the ads that are really great and that paint the picture for the tenant. So in our ads we say things like the sort of place where you can come home, kick off your shoes, close the door and feel happy to be home. The place about relaxing, about the garden patio or whatever it happens to be. It's just to paint the picture, and also to paint the picture about the services that you give, the excellent Wi-Fi, the cleaning, blah de blah, and to have professional photography. So obviously when you get your refurb done, or when you first take over the property, in your case, Paul, then you'd have your professional pictures and use them for every time you're advertising a room. So if it has a tenant in and the tenant's untidy, you don't have to go and take pictures of an untidy room to get your photos online, because you've got your pre-letting photos. So that's a really good one. Again, dressing the rooms. We really like to dress the rooms because we did go through a period where we'd stopped dressing the rooms, and we did notice that things stick more when they're not dressed, for us anyway. And can you tell us what online portals you use, Paul?
Yeah, so we use Zoopla, Rightmove, UPad, Spare Room, Easy Roommate. Yeah. We tend to not use Gumtree. Yeah. I would also come back to one of the other points about having rooms dressed. I think I totally agree with that, and it's vitally important. But then also, as you grow your stock, having the rooms, the professional photos segregated into maybe a property management software, so that if somebody calls up, you can quite quickly look at an advert and then see what room they're actually speaking about. Because they could be looking at 20 rooms.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Drill down really quickly to identify which one they're on about.
So, do you use a property management software?
Yeah, so we use Arthur as property management software for all of our portfolios.
Yeah, actually, so do we. Yeah, we really like it. And just basically get a referral system going with your existing tenants, and also tell everybody about it. We once got 4 tenants off our builder who met 4 guys in a pub who just moved to the area, and that worked out brilliant because we were just finishing off this property. The builder was just finishing off the property for us. So that's 3, and number 4 is getting the right person. By that I mean getting the right tenant, but it had to begin with a P. So again, we go by, first of all, are they polite, friendly, and respectful? Does the paperwork stack up? And a big one for us has been the end of tenancies. And with the end of tenancy, I mean that rather than just giving normal, all of our rents paid on the 1st, so the end of each month, the last day of each month is the end of each rental period. So we've made it the notice period is the end of a rental period. So if somebody gave their notice, say today, then the end of the next rental period is the end of June. God, we're in May. Is the end of June. So so it just gives us a bit more time. Is that what you do, Paul?
Yeah, so we've moved or move in and moved from, again, middle of the month payment runs, so being more towards allocated to the start of the month. And the reason for that is the fact that you feel like you're a debit chasing company as well, chasing rent roll as well, or late payers. And really, you want the focus is on either growing the business or making sure that the money's in, and as much money is in at the start of the month. Is placing it across the period of the month, like cash counted. So we do exactly the same.
Yeah, that was an MLCS tip, wasn't it? Always on the first. So that works really well. And the fifth P, before we get on to Paul's stuff, is that the right professionalism. The fifth P is professionalism. And that's just about the brand and your image and your service, and bigging up the service that you provide at the viewings, explaining that to tenants, so that and I think that's what's allowed us. I mean, our properties and rooms are not always the best that are on the market, but we still manage to fill them quickly. And I think that's partly to do with the brand and the service.
Yeah, and I'd say that there's exposure rate as well to it. Yeah, as you get to a certain size, you'll find that they will naturally find you through different organic routes. It may be through the let board. Yeah, and it might be from one area, or it might be from a referral of a friend or a family member that may have come across your board, or know somebody that lives with you from a different property.
Fantastic. So that's the void section finished, and now we're going to go through with Paul about his property journey, how he's grown his business, and all of that sort of thing. So just to kick it off, Paul, what inspired you to get started in property?
So my father-in-law had a couple of rental properties. I've held them for a number of years, and just to be honest, always wanted to venture out into a property world. Why not? To be honest, and just kind of wanted to dual income or dual stream from a PAYE corporate career role.
Yeah, it's good to get off the PAYE. So what about, I know you did a bit of training, so tell us about that.
Yes, I did a number of training courses at the start of a property journey, which was with Progressive Property, which was with Francis Dolly. Those are the two main people that we use. So I did a VIP 12-month mentorship with Progressive. I'd also spoke at the Super Conference, Progressive Property Super Conference on lease options with Trevor Cutmore. And then I did some training with Francis. And then, as I met yourself last year, I got on stage as well and did a talk at Francis's reunion as well. And I was going to do one this year, but I was away for a while.
Yeah. Okay. So you did the course with Trevor Cutmore, and at the time, let's just go back a step. You was working quite a full-on job as a regional sales account manager all over the country, and for the first 2.5 years, where you were doing the lease options, you were still working flat out as well.
So we started off with a small studio on a lease option, then a 2-bed apartment on a lease option, then another 2-bed, then another 2-bed. Then a 6-bedroom HMO on a lease option as well. Still whilst working a corporate career role. So pretty much I was there for a number of years, quite a high level, and then gave that up about 2.5 years. But at that point, I also gave up company car, fuel card, expenses, pension, healthcare, life insurance, bonus, and again, a healthy salary as well.
So that's a big loss. But before we sort of talk about that, I'm just interested in lease options, because a lot of people actually say it's quite challenging to get these lease options, and you actually got quite a lot, hence you being on stage at the Super Conference talking about what you've achieved, and you've just sort of given us a few of them there. So can you tell us a bit about the marketing that you did for the lease options that you got? Yeah,
so there was a couple of different routes that we've used. We've had it where it's direct to, I think pretty much all of them in the end were direct to vendor. Yeah. Right. One was a letter drop straight through the door after seeing it online for sale and on spare room for rent as an individual HMO. Obviously the person didn't know how to do it. Another one was pretty much on again, up for sale online and up for rent online. So
Right.
pretty much need it for sale and then engaged with the landlord or the vendor directly about doing a lease option on it, which we now use as a HMO.
So do you think, because obviously, and then talking to the landlords and getting the deals from where it's just a potential to where it's in the bag, and then even when they're in that discussion, they can fall apart. So how do you get so many over the line? What do you think is the secret to it?
What's the secret to it? Being persuasive, understanding the process and making it that it's simple and easy to do from start to finish.
Yeah.
Walking them through the advantages of doing it as well at the same time.
Yeah.
And also the disadvantages of doing it, what they are getting themselves in for. But also at that, you've got to also look, I got so far and I'd already got property experience. So I started off with single lets and then went into HMOs. Yeah. So you cut your teeth with nice, easy single lets and then work yourself up. So you've got, you can answer all the questions that somebody's going to ask you. You've got the credibility, you've got the rapport, you've built your contact base, you know who your solicitor's going to be, you've structured deals in the past. And if need be, you can call somebody like Trevor Cutmore or other mentors as well that have done it and can walk you or guide you in a certain way to doing a deal.
Yeah, I think that's so important, isn't it? Having somebody when you're first starting, although it sounds like you just started and just took off straight away. So you've got your lease option portfolio, and then can you give us an example of how the numbers might work for one of your lease option deals?
Yeah, so we purchased a property. It was listed on the market for 290,000. So we agreed a price at 290,000. The amount of money that we put down on completion was a peppercorn, old law, so it was £1. £10,000 into the deal for refurbing it up. I think it cash flows around about, I think it's about £2,200 per calendar month. And we make about £600 net on it from 10,000. Lifetime of the agreement 7 years.
Wow, that sounds good. That sounds amazing. So, what was in it for the landlord there or the owner? What?
It was like a hoarded house, so there was loads of stuff you couldn't see through it. They wanted to get out. They was slightly negative equity as well, so they would owe money back to the bank.
Okay. Yeah. They just wanted to just walk away. Yeah, and you didn't need to pay them any money because they're already in equity, and actually they would owe the bank. Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. I love that one. Okay, and tell me about, making the switch from when you're employed, you've got the company car, the pension, and all those other things that you mentioned, making the switch to going self-employed or going to business full time.
So pretty much, I hadn't fully got to the position where I was happy to quit, because at the end of the day, you've always got that security. You're in your comfort zone. It was always on the cards, and me and my wife had already said, all right, we'll get to a certain stage and we'll be done with it. But you never know when you're going to be there. So I think we'd had a monthly account review, and I just said to my wife, look, that's it. I just called the wife and said, look, I'm going to write me notice and I'll be driving in to hand it in. That was it.
Yeah, oh my goodness.
Well, I'd already built a portfolio at that point in time. I'd already built a reoccurring revenue stream as well, and I already had a member of staff. We already had cleaners, gardeners, a refurb as well. So I pretty much knew my base was there. And if I wanted to, I could go and get another job next week.
I think that's the safety net, that if it all does go wrong, you can get back.
What I wouldn't do is, if people are just getting into property, is just switch off their income, because mortgages, refinancing your house if you need another residential income, just a lot of other downfalls to it.
Yeah. Okay. I can't see the names of the commenters. Sorry, I've just realised that we've had quite a few comments. just saying hi and stuff. Okay, so tell me about, you then started in rent to rent, didn't you?
Correct.
And how you got your first deal?
Okay. So I got my first deal, seen a property online. Okay, 5 bedrooms. Knew it could be done as a rent to rent deal. Walking distance again from my house. Nice, easy stomping ground. Agent wasn't being any helpful, so pretty much seen the owner on the drive. He had his car on the drive and just knocked on the door.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
Bit of balls.
If you want something bad enough, it doesn't matter. It's cold calling, isn't it? At the end of the day, it's just it's just cold selling.
That's just, and you are in sales, so that's kind of easy for you.
Yeah, and my wife will vouch for that. Yeah, if it means that that's a deal, and we need to knock on the door, and it's empty,
right? So you knocked on the door, and I suppose, can you remember how the conversation went?
You might want to turn your camera up, Steph. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, no, I don't prefer. I think it was just the fact of he said refer me back to the agent, and I just said, look, I'm not getting any further with the agent, and how about we try and do a deal directly about it, and just structured it around that he was clearing it out anyway for let. So just said, look, this is what we can offer yourself. Yeah. And signed it. I think it was 3 years we did that one on.
Yeah. And can you remember the what you were paying him and what you got?
So that deal there, I think we pay him 9. It was originally 850 or 875, and I think net we did about 475, £500 net.
Yeah, a nice start.
All right, it's a good start. Yeah.
Well, sometimes the first deals can end up as what they call lemons. So, what was your best one?
So we've done a deal. We did it last January, pretty much with another agent. We messed around on HMO management, came across, was fed up with HMO management, just wanted less of it. So we did a 5-year lease on it. It was all en suites, and I think we'd still pay him $950. And I think it was one of my case studies at Francis's.
Oh, right.
£1,000 a month. Yeah.
I haven't seen that one, but that sounds. How much did you say?
About £1,000 net.
Yeah, nice. That's a really nice deal. A really nice deal. Okay, so give us an overview of your lettings business.
Yeah. So the lettings business, which is again landlord management. So again, that's from single lets, which are on again 6-month or 12-month ASTs, to HMOs, which we have a big mixture of from one side of Birmingham to the other side of Birmingham, and then we have a small handful of, probably 2 handfuls of commercial properties as well.
Yeah, tell us a bit more about the commercials. How did you get into commercial? Was that something you were always aiming for, or?
No, it came around by accident, which was part of a portfolio turnaround that we did last year. And it came about where we've got 2 blocks, and it's actually a good strategy, to be honest, which is to have 4 commercial shops on the ground floor, all on long-term leases, averaging about £500 per calendar month. And then there's essentially, in the one block, there's 7 studios above it as well.
Nice. And do those rent easily?
Yes, 100% occupant.
Yeah, it just sounds like these sort of self-contained units are really a great way to go, and there's not the management.
Yeah, there's not as much. Well, you've got to think about your commercial side. They could be tied in for 5, 10, 15 years with break clauses at certain lengths or certain periods, and there's less responsibility on the landlord as well. Yeah,
no, that sounds ideal. And also, you took over a big portfolio, didn't you?
Yeah, so that we did that for. So we work with a couple of high net worths and ultra high net worths. So pretty much it was given to us back off of recommendation as well, of 25 units. So again, we had some shops in there, some HMOs, and some single lets. Yeah. So we've all within a package of, it was a space of around about 2 months. We've refurbished 4 studios and 1 HMO, We'd tenanted that new HMO and the studios. We'd re-geared leases, evicted some tenants, and yeah, kind of put it back as what it should be, to be fair.
It just sounds, again, I'm dizzy with all that. Just the taking on 25 units at once, but also all the problems with the evictions and everything. That's never easy. And then the refurbs and then the re-tenanting. But that landlord must really be so relieved to be working with you.
That's only half of this portfolio, so there's
another half
to come.
And then you're taking that on as well.
We should be, yeah, hopefully this year.
And how did that come about? I'm sure there's a lot of people would love to be sort of taking on a portfolio.
Yeah, that came about, as I said, it was a recommendation based on experience.
From one of your other landlords.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. You can't do better than that when you get a recommendation. So as well, the big deal that you've got going on. Tell us about that one.
So that's a deal between myself and my two friends, which are my two business partners. They do refurbishments for us as well, so they're kind of seeing what we can do with the HMOs. So we've essentially got two houses next door to each other, which on the market, as before we've converted it, is 12 rooms, 2 kitchens and 2 living rooms. So it was 2 houses that were merged to one, and we were essentially splitting them back. And we'll create 9 en-suites in one property with a kitchen and living room, and then 6 en-suites in the house next door with 1 living room and 1 kitchen over 2 floors.
That just sounds mental. And I was even more drooling when you told me about how the numbers work for it. So run me through it again.
Yeah, so we purchased the property for 372,500. Yeah. We've wrapped bridge and finance into that as well at 80% loan to value.
Yeah.
We'll probably put around about £100,000 worth of refurbishment money into it. When it's fully tenanted and we're fully refurbished and fully tenanted, it's held inside an SPV, special purpose vehicle for holding the property as well. We'll have a gross rent roll per annum of around about £86,000 per year.
Wow, that's nice. And from what you said, the GDV that you're forecasting at the moment, the gross development value, the value after it's been refurbed. Yeah,
we should be thinking it's north of 800k.
Wow, so that'll be like
pretty much all the money back out of it.
Equity.
Yeah.
In between, plus getting all your money out. I'm just going to have a look, because what's happened is on this software that we're using, I can't see who's making the comments, so I can't actually say hi to the people who are on. So I'm just having a quick look now, and I would say hi to Ben, Wendy, Anil and John, who've all said hi. And I know there are a few more of you listening, and I can't see those names at the moment. But if you've got any questions that you want to ask Paul about any of what he said, from starting up in rent to rent, actually being successful in lease options in just a couple 2.5 years, while working full time, you've actually got more lease options than people I know who've been doing it for years. I think it must be that salesman gift of the gab with that one. But if you've got any questions about either of those, or the lettings business, or the big deal where he's getting the money out, I think I'm sort of interested in the bridging side of things. Was that quite straightforward, or?
It was, yeah, it's fairly straightforward. Obviously, you've got to be able to prove that you've got an exit strategy or an exit route for the actual, once you're going to refinance. Numbers have got to stack backwards for it as well. Prove where the rental market is. You've got to have experience as well in some ways that I manage and purchase and we refurbish these properties. Yeah. And then also my business partners do new build and commercial to residential refurbishments as well. In the plumbing and I suppose all in a number of different aspects. So we have a good power team that sit between us, and we've got a collective track record as well.
Yeah, I just think it's a fantastic deal, because not only have you created sort of, even if it turns out to be less, you've got a massive buffer. It's about, based on current forecasts, it's about £500,000 in equity that when the project's finished. and on top of that, you've got 86 grand a year coming in after you've got all of your money back out. So that is amazing. So we were just talking earlier, weren't we? And we'd love to obviously have you back on to talk about how things go with that deal, and also maybe do a video from the site so you can show us how things developed. Maybe if you could give us some pictures, but we'll talk offline and we'll get some before photos and then go around once it's all complete. Well done. How did that one come to you?
So that property was on market. Yeah, it was on the open space.
Yeah.
I was aware of the property being empty for about 2 years or 3 years anyway, and I've been trying to get it off market for about 2 years anyway.
Yeah.
But it just never came to light. So as soon as it did come on the market, I was more than happy to we actually paid over the asking price for it as well, because we knew what the number was.
Yeah, I can't believe that's over the asking. It must have been in a bit of state then when you took it over.
Oh, it was a complete mess.
Yeah, and was it tenanted when you took it over?
No, completely vacant.
It was empty. It'd been empty for a while. Okay, so we've sort of covered off a lot of what you've done so far. And where's Empire going next? What have you got planned for the future?
So we'll continue to do some refurbishments for other clients as well. We've got a client that we're currently working for is a high net worth as well. So we have hopefully 9 studios to start in the next week. And again, into land developments and into commercial to residential conversions as well. So again, we've got a pipeline of those that we're working on, and we'll be looking to get those, at least a couple, secured in the next couple of months, which is one stream. Doing some mentoring and coaching as well for new property investors and also experienced investors, and then also to try looking at acquiring at least one letting agency every 12 months. So again, which is organic acquisition growth.
You're definitely keeping yourself busy, because I know that there's a lot of due diligence that goes into acquiring a letting agency, and then the systems and the staff, if you take any over, it's not straightforward. So I'd love to have you back on to talk about that in the future when you've acquired, some of these letting agencies that you've completed on this project. When are you expecting to complete the big project that we've been talking about?
So the first nine en suites will be completed in the next 5 to 6 weeks, and then we'll move on to the other 6, which will probably take about 8 weeks to do.
And so it's a phase one, so you can tenant the 9 and then, or no? Is that how it will work?
Yeah, so we'll look to tenant the first 9, or we'll look to start the second refurbishment as the first one finishes, so that we can get ahead of it as well.
Right. Okay. We've got a question. Why give the asking price? Sorry, Clive. Not sure what that means.
What was that, Clive?
Yeah. He said, why give the asking price?
The market price was 330 or 340,000.
Oh, right. I think he wants to know why you went over, but I think you just knew it was be an amazing deal, and you still made so much out of it. And I'm guessing there would have been a bit of competition. That's why you went over. Yeah, there would be. But if you know how to do it, or you know how many en-suites you can get out of it, or you know that you can push the rental valuation higher, and then enabling a higher commercial valuation, then it's still stacks. Well, even if you were making 100 or 200 or 300 or 400k, it's at the moment looking like $500,000. So I mean, spending the extra, was it 30 grand, or whatever it was, it made sense. But thanks for the question. Thanks for the question. Oh, Mike's just popped on now as well. So just going into a few tips for people who, I don't think anybody, replicate this, because it's just a bit mammoth. But what are the things within your business, apps or software or other tools that you use within your? See what you're like, Paul. See what you're like. This is the Queen show. This is what do you use in your business that you wouldn't be without, that you could suggest for people?
So Arthur, property management software, whether you use that or you use Podio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they both come out as recommendations, but we use Arthur.
Mm-hmm.
Xero as an accountancy package.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Directly linked into Arthur as well.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
We bank with Barclays as well, so we have a direct feed from Barclays into Xero, so we don't import statements.
Yeah.
What else would we use? IT software, Office 365 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. And I'm guessing you're probably on the cloud, some sort of cloud-based.
We're all cloud. Yeah, we don't have any physical servers or anything. Dropbox integration as well.
Yeah.
Zoopla, Spare Room. Yeah,
that's
okay. I know they're in portals.
Okay. You're struggling there, Paul. That's okay. We've got the meat of it. Arthur with Xero, your direct bank feed, and everything's in the cloud. So, what would be your top piece of advice for other property investors?
Other property investors, work with somebody that's got some experience. Okay.
Sorry?
Work with somebody that's got experience, or that can shortcut yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Have a mentor, but be selective and pick the right mentor as well.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose due diligence, but then don't be overcritical.
Yeah.
Because
you said choose the right mentor, which a lot of people are obviously concerned about choosing the wrong mentor. But how do you know? What do you look for? What would you say?
Look at track record. Yeah. Go and physically meet the people. Meet the mentor as well in his business. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or go and see a live site. If they said that they're doing refurbishments, go and see their site. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'd probably get some due diligence, some case studies, or speak to somebody else that they've mentored.
Yeah. I think it's just sort of going beneath the surface, because sometimes people can look like all that.
Yeah, take the fluff and the marketing off the top, and then go and align it to what you want in 1 year and 3 years as well. You can't really see that, yeah.
Okay. And because I know you listen to podcasts and books and things, anything that you would recommend there? Yeah,
audio. So I listen to audiobooks on Audible.
I'm just looking to see what you're listening to.
I'll tell you exactly what we've got. The Millionaire Next Door. Scaling Up. Yeah. I'm also listening to one. Hey.
Do you know who the Scaling Up is by?
No, Scaling Up is by Vern Harnish.
Oh right, okay. I've not. I mean, I've heard of the term, but I've not come across the book.
Yeah, Traction, Getting Grips to with your business. Yeah, Oversubscribed or Profits First. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks for that, Paul. And the last thing is there any trainer or trainings that you would recommend?
If people want some mentoring and want consultancy, more than happy for us to get in contact with me. Training wise, again, there's always the mainstream people as well. Simon Zucci, or Francis Dolly if you want to go down to rent. John Paul, again, on a lettings agency side. That depends on where you want to be.
Yeah. Okay, great. Okay, well, thank you so much, Paul, for coming on. And guys, if you got any questions, just put them in the comments. But also give Paul a thumbs up if you'd like the info that he's shared with us today. And Paul, if people do want to get in touch with you, this way.
A couple of different ways. The mainline telephone numbers 0121 514 8850 or empirelpm.com. So it's empirelimaPapaMother.com. Feel free to Facebook me, LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter.
All right, you're on everything. You're all over it, Paul. So what I'll do is I'll get those details off you, and I'll put them underneath the video, guys. So sorry, I keep forgetting where I'm looking, and I'll put them underneath. So if you want to contact Paul, obviously is mammoth, what he's done and achieved in a really short time, when you think he's only actually been 2.5 years full-time working on his business. So thanks for that, Paul. I think there's no questions. Is there? No, I don't think there's any questions. So we'll call it a night and wrap up. And guys, if you do think of anything, you can ask in the comments and we'll do our best from over there. But thank you so much for coming on the show, Paul. It's been an absolute pleasure, and it's been great digging down, and I've got loads more questions for you.
I'm sure you have, very much. Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for being on the show, Paul.
No, thanks for your time, sir.
Okay.
We'll
bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Thanks so much.
Bye.